So many people across this country are going to be impacted by Elon Musk, Doge, and Trump just going through slashing jobs and pulling funding for various things. And as Elon Musk reposted, Americans that get funding are parasites. They're part of the parasite class. And the people that are smiling up and just looking on know that they are not part of the parasite class. So this next post isn't leopards are feasting because this is not a Trump supporter, but we're all in find out season because of Trump supporters. So let's look at this one. She says, "Hey, Burb, I wanted to send this to you in case you want to include it in your FAFO series. I'm a doctoral student at a university in Nebraska. My city is more progressive, as most larger cities are, even in red states, but is still full of conservatives and 45/47 supporters. In the recent elections, voters neglected to protect abortion rights and are making further moves to restrict trans people and further restrict abortion access in the state legislature. And of course, 45/47 won Nebraska in a landslide. My university is a Big Ten research institution and the largest of three in a system of schools with the same name, but based in different cities. The school dismantled its Office of DEI last year over student and faculty protests, but continued to restate its commitment to diversity. Since my institution is publicly funded, this commitment might be dropped in the coming months. There's a strong possibility that the entire state will be getting their comeuppance soon." I'm going to share with you a letter that she sent in just a moment. She said, "Most people come to my city, in particular, as tourists. They come to town to see college games and to attend college events and tours. Business owners make the most money during these big events and plan their yearly calendars around them. Like other schools, my university runs free meal programs, volunteer programs, and acts as a hub for grassroots activism in the city. So the school is a huge funding and social source for the city. It was my suspicion that the state of Nebraska depends on money, research, and processes put in place by my school. But this email from the president confirms it. The university has a $6.4 billion impact on the state economy, and 1 in 7 people in the state have a degree from my school. Recently, the second campus for a community college in my area was closed and sold to a private business. Residents of Nebraska already had limited options when it comes to higher education, and now there's a threat to severely defund an institution with programs that help low-income Nebraskans get a free degree, complete with specialized instruction. Executive orders from 45/47 put a cap on reimbursement rates from the NIH, a crucial source of funding for my school. It has been paused temporarily, but can resume as early as Friday, and is only the beginning of the devastating impact on higher education this administration has planned. Dismantling the Department of Education would decimate education in this state. And though voters managed to shoot down a private school voucher bill, I can see that reemerging soon. Don't get me wrong, academia over the last several decades has left a lot to be desired. More and more institutions are taking power from students and faculty and giving it to business consultants or board members with very little recent experience on a college campus. Arts programs are getting cut and truncated left and right. And I'm willing to bet that facilities for art students around the world are old and dilapidated, while big boss offices and business school buildings are top of the line. Somehow we need more business and people to run them, but not more artists. Despite academia's problems, higher education remains important. I can't count the number of students who use the support and insight provided by higher ed to make positive changes in the community. As a graduate student teacher, I can't tell you the number of students that end up in my freshman writing class with no idea how to write a cogent sentence or use word programming software." Now I'm going to share the email that she shared with me. "Dear faculty, staff, and students, last week I shared an update on a sudden federal policy change that could have cut $27 million annually from the university blank research funding until a court intervened. The National Institutes of Health issued a directive capping the reimbursement rate for facilities and administrative F&A costs at 15% of total awards, far below the rates universities negotiate. The financial impact on Nebraska researchers would have been significant, but for now, a temporary restraining order has put the policy on hold nationwide. A court hearing on this matter is scheduled for February 21st, and we're closely monitoring developments. We continue to closely monitor actions that could affect the university, including all recent executive orders, new federal directives, and policy changes that are still taking shape. The administration's Department of Government Efficiency is driving significant shifts across federal agencies as it moves to reduce the federal workforce. As part of these efforts, termination notices were issued late last week to employees within the U.S. Department of Agriculture, impacting areas such as animal and plant health inspection, predator management on rangelands, farmland conservation, agricultural research, and fire suppression and management. These workforce reductions will likely carry implications for Nebraska, directly affecting agencies and programs that the university collaborates with, including the U.S. Meat Animal Research Center in Clay City, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, the USDA Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, Wildlife Service, the U.S. Geological Surveys, Nebraska's Cooperative Fish and Wildlife Research Unit, and the National Forest Service. The work undertaken through these partnerships is essential to Nebraska's producers and communities, supporting vital research, conservation efforts, and resource management. USDA is but one federal agency undergoing cuts that will have an impact on the university. Cuts are also being experienced by the Centers for Disease Control, National Institutes of Health, Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Education, Small Business Administration, and more. Our team is actively engaging with Nebraska's federal and state policymakers to ensure they understand the impact of these developments on our university, our state, and the people we serve, as well as how they may create changes in our ability to serve students, conduct research, and drive economic growth. We are also in ongoing discussions with our National Higher Education Association and peer institutions across the country, working together to navigate this rapidly changing landscape. If your work, well, y'all see the point. Y'all see the point. And I'm not going to continue to read this. As you can see, the writing is really small, but these cuts across the country are impacting red states. They're impacting whole states because many of these schools employ many of the people in the state, but also the outlying areas that, make lunches, that service the research, that just have businesses that crop up to support the university will be impacted. Lots of people are going to lose jobs the way they came in slashing funds. But Elon Musk is calling these people the parasite class. Now we have a message from Smokey. He says, only you can prevent forest fires. Then he says, seriously, we've been defunded. It's just you now, because this administration is cutting forest personnel. So, we just came out of this terrible, horrific situation with the California wildfires, and now they're cutting funds for wildfires and forest management. It's about to be a jacked up summer, the way they are handling things. Here's an article from Politico. It says, Forest Service fires 3,400 people after deferred resignation deadline passes. The U.S. Forest Service will fire roughly 3,400 federal employees across every level of the agency beginning Thursday, according to two people familiar with the plans. The move targets employees who are still within their probationary period, which means it's easier for them to be let go. Public safety employees at USFS are exempt from the firing. While firefighter jobs appear to be unaffected, other roles that support wildfire prevention are being cut. Employees who work on the road and trail maintenance, timber production, and watershed restoration are also impacted. The layoffs come one day after the deadline for the Trump administration's Fork in the Road program, which encouraged employees to resign but stay on the government payroll through September. It's not yet clear how many USDA employees accepted the deferred resignation option. A USDA spokesperson declined to comment on individual personnel actions. Protecting the people and communities we serve, as well as the infrastructure, businesses, and resources they depend on to grow and thrive, remains a top priority for the USDA and the Forest Service, the spokesperson said in a statement. Our wildland firefighter and other public safety positions are of the utmost priority. So that was a short article from Politico, and it said that they cut 3,400 positions. Each one of those positions is a person that is using that money to provide shelter, food, take care of kids, whatever, to survive in this economy. And each of those people, I'm sure they needed that money. I went over to the forestry subreddit because, yes, there's pretty much a subreddit for everything. Country Girl Booty said, showed up to protest after being fired from FS, the Forestry Service, yesterday. Lots of support from everyone. Fight's not over, guys. And so here is the sign that says illegally fired, Forest Service public steward, 11 years of dedicated public service, and Doge thinks I'm a worthless parasite. Doge thinks that somebody that's out there working in a forest is a worthless parasite. She says, had to do something to release the anger and sadness from this horrible weekend for so many people. I'm so glad I showed up and was able to talk with a lot of people about what's happening to Fed workers right now. Lots of support from everyone. We're not alone. Warbler Burglar says, thank you for your work. I'm currently 1 year away from finishing school for forestry. I'm at a complete loss for what I should do. I had aspirations to work for the USFS. Now I don't know what to expect when I finish. Such a bummer. Someone like me, I had no idea that you needed to go to school to be a forest worker. I had no clue. So this person is paying money to go to school for forestry, and now it's going to be up in the air if these people even have positions. The OP says, don't give up. I have no idea what my future holds or what the future industry holds for FS, but I can't imagine my life not working in forestry. While things are unclear right now, we need all of the people who love and care for public lands. Your time spent learning about forestry will not be wasted. There are still private and state agencies in the meantime. I wish you all the luck and really hope the future looks brighter. Tamarack Needle says, when I was in school, I thought I'd work for the Forest Service too. In fact, I did on an 8-month technician contract right after I graduated. But after that, I got a full-time job as a technician for my state government. And now I've been a municipal forester for a city's water supply for over 7 years. My point being, if you're interested in government forestry work, there is a lot out there that is not USFS. I'm not saying this to write off what's happening right now at the USFS. It's absolutely horrible. I do want you to know that there's a lot of opportunity out there. Don't feel lost just yet. And the crazy thing is, if these people who are there, who were there, leave, and then they go take all of that experience into another locale or whatnot, these positions are losing so much experience and expertise. It's crazy how willingly they are just cut people that have been working there and just decide that their performance was just not up to par and just wipe people away without actually doing real audits of, their work or anything like that. Nature Girl says, state, counties, and cities hire foresters or work for a private consultant forester or land trust. So I didn't know all of this. I'm just reading this just so people know and understand that, yeah, they might have to move into a different department. Now, this is a Trump supporter. This person tagged Elon Musk and Donald Trump saying, I would like to ask you guys about the loss of jobs from the National Park Service and other STEM fields within the government. I am an aspiring paleontologist. As such, I have dedicated my life to understanding life that no longer lives. I feel as though a lot of people who don't deserve to lose their jobs are, and specifically in the field of earth sciences. I voted for you, President Trump, and I fully support the cuts you are making elsewhere in the government. But is it possible just to remove the administrative bloat from the NPS rather than all the park ranger positions? Please let me know what your plans are for the NPS. And please don't hurt the little guy. Don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Hurt them. Don't hurt me. I deserve to keep this job. These people, like the farmers that voted for him, like the other Fed workers that voted for him, the poors that voted for him, they keep writing out messages to him and Elon Musk. Save me! Eat the faces of the other people! Save me! And it's really annoying. These people are really annoying. All right. I don't even know what to say about this. Sitting up here really crying about this stuff. Dude, Donald Trump and Elon Musk don't care. They don't care. They're just slashing money so that Elon Musk and the other billionaires and millionaires can get their tax cuts. You're not important, Joe the Blue Raptor.
For the last 5 years, I've invested my whole life into finding out if, in fact, the early bird does get the worm. And now because of Trump, I'm out of a job. I voted myself into unemployment.
But I need to get this off my chest. Today is the first day that I regret voting for Donald Trump.
I messed up. As a Hispanic, I voted for Donald J. Trump because I thought he was going to deliver on his promises. And now I quickly realized that I have to FAFO, and the whole country will have to FAFO. And it's just ridiculous about what's going on right now. I sincerely apologize.
So I'm still upset about my vote for Donald Trump. Everybody knows I got fired from the research and development that I was doing.
I voted for Donald Trump, and now I regret it because now, since Elon Musk took over, I lost my job. This last night in the hotel. I was ahead of the... I never thought this day would come. Well, I'm gonna regret what I did. I really regret voting for this guy. I'm working on this program for the sound power phones batteries. We're researching these batteries for these sound power phones, and they cut off our funding.
I regret voting for Trump. I didn't think I was going to actually say this out loud so fast too, right? But I voted for Trump and I regret it. So many people are losing their jobs. So many of my friends. I just lost my job too. I worked in this experimental department called Folding Hard Taco.
It took my wife.
This man who wished not to be identified says his wife is from Venezuela and has lived in the United States for a few years. She was one of 3 people taken from this home. I'm told the 2 others were men who worked in construction. You see them here. This video, only 1 minute and 52 seconds long, we do not see his wife being removed from the home. But this is a picture of her that he keeps in his wallet. Her name is Vianis Ramirez, and he says she was in the process of becoming a United States citizen.
She already had a court date. She was good. Everything's good. He just came in and snatched her.
For the last 5 years, I've invested my whole life into finding out if, in fact, the early bird does get the worm. And now because of Trump, I'm out of a job. I voted myself into unemployment.